So this particular day, this young lady said, "Yeah, I have an announcement to make." And so she's like, "Today's my birthday." And so we were all like, "Oh man, happy birthday!" Yada yada yada. So we start singing "Happy Birthday" to her, and she kind of stops us, kind of mid while we're singing. She says, "No, it's not really my actual born day. This is the second year anniversary of me being cancer free."
Wow.
And many people are stuck in the place that they're in largely because of the fact that they're not around people that challenge them. And it's not that they don't know those people don't challenge them, it's that they're scared to be alone.
I am going to make a personal commitment to execution over perfection.
Right now, my company is making, over $200,000 a month.
If you give me a piece of music, what am I going to play? And you put that same, piece of music or elements of music in the hands of Michael Jackson, what is that going to create? Little becomes much when you place it in the hands of the master.
All right, well, rolling. Welcome to another edition of Believers Breathe, the podcast, where I have the opportunity to sit down with great guests, talk about self-awareness, self-confidence, and self-worth. I sit down with entrepreneurs, leaders, pick their brain, try to find out how they've been able to create a great skill set for sure, but also create a great mindset that has allowed them to do great things. Not sure if this guy considers himself an entrepreneur, but I definitely know he is a leader of people. And I can't wait to get into this interview. But go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. My name is James Crumlin. I'm a lawyer here at Spencer Fane, Bone McAllister. I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky, born and raised there. Went to college and law school at Vanderbilt. Did a federal clerkship after that and went to work for a firm here in town for 5 years. And then I've been with I was with Bone McAllister Norton for 19 years. And 2 weeks ago today, man, we merged with Spencer Fane. So
good for you.
National law firm with 20 offices around the country based out of Kansas City. So
Now, it sounded like you said Louisville. Now, I've been reprimanded by people from Louisville that tell me I'm not saying it right. So is it Louisville or Louisville?
It's Louisville, but I say
Louisville.
it's Louisville, but I
Okay.
say Louisville because most people don't. They'll always say, "So where are you from again?" And I'll say Louisville, but they don't get it until I say Louisville.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I can do
I'm
it.
comfortable saying Louisville
Good.
from the West End, the best end.
yeah.
So
So as you said, you are a lawyer.
yes.
How did you get into that? I think that typically you have kids that go to school and they say, "I want to be teacher, doctor, lawyer."
Yeah.
Those are the things I hear often,
Sure.
being an educator. But then you have those people that stick to their journey, and then they end up in your seat.
Man, it is crazy. So I've always known that I wanted to be a lawyer. So my dad was a lawyer. He was a civil rights lawyer up in Louisville.
Okay.
See how I said that? Civil rights lawyer in Louisville. And he filed a lawsuit to desegregate the University of Kentucky and assisted with the desegregation of the University of Louisville Dental School. So I kind of had all of that in me growing up. And my mother was an educator. She was a school teacher. She taught school for over 40 years. And so I didn't have a choice but to study, make good grades, and go to school. And both my parents had advanced degrees. My mother had a master's, and of course my dad had a law degree. So I knew that graduating from college, I had to go and do something else. I wasn't going to be able to just stop. And I don't know if it was pressure that they put on me or pressure I put on myself. Probably a combination of them both.
Yeah.
But I always knew I wanted to be a lawyer. It was solidified in 8th grade when I participated in this youth and government program. And we got to go to Frankfort, Kentucky, argue in the actual state Senate and House chambers and all that stuff when I was in 8th grade, 13 years old. So, I mean, from then it was a wrap. I just knew I wanted to be
Yeah.
I didn't know what type of law I wanted to practice, but I knew I wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay, so what type of law do you practice?
So I tell people it's kind of a melting pot of things. So my primary focus is labor and employment. So I help employers with all their employee needs, whether it's hiring, firing, discipline, employee handbooks, EEOC charges, litigation, just basically anything that an employer needs. I work with HR managers or VP or even the president of the company to make sure that they get all of their employees correctly. I also serve as outside general counsel for a lot of small to medium-sized businesses or just companies in general that don't have an in-house lawyer or an in-house counsel. And they'll run all their contracts, all their real estate stuff, all their immigration stuff, which I don't do. I pass on to someone else. And basically whatever their legal needs are, they run it through me, and I kind of serve as the air traffic controller for the company, where if I can do it, then I do it. If I don't, there are plenty of people in my office that can help. There's nothing that we can't do. And then I also deal with some entertainers as well. Well, I represent artists and some groups trying to negotiate some contracts, but that's very few and far between.
That is a melting pot.
Yeah. I love the business owners and the entrepreneurs, though, because there's nothing like sitting in a room like this where you're sitting across from somebody and they're telling you their dream.
Yeah.
And you get to be a part of it. You get to put the structure together to help them achieve their dream, whether it's the LLC, whether it's the S Corp, whether it's the C Corp, whether it's the general partnership. And then if it's a business that provides a service, you get to provide the service contract, draft that, and you just see the excitement just kind of grow as their business grows. I mean, I just love that.
Do you think that it is essential for entrepreneurs to have a lawyer on their team, whether it's like directly every day or if it's someone that maybe I have on retainer and I can call you up if I have a question?
So I always advise entrepreneurs to have 3 people. You need a lawyer, you need an accountant, and you need a mentor. You need a business mentor, somebody that's done it. Because you can't be it unless you see it. Taking that from the late Justice Birch. That's what he used to always say. But you need those 3, right? And you need a lawyer to put the structure together to help you with any questions that you may have. You need the accountant to make sure the bag is right. And then you need the mentor to make sure that they're you're guiding the ship in the right direction.
What do you see has been like the common thread amongst entrepreneurs where they may not be getting it right, and you have to come in with your experience to say, well, this is a structure that we must have in place? Because I know right now the word or the letters LLC are like in everybody's mouth.
Sure.
But I've learned that an S Corp could be better, just depending on, what fits you.
Right.
So in terms of like establishing credibility, creating that structure for a business, do you see any common pitfalls?
I do. One of the common pitfalls is not doing anything. So, sorry.
All good.
Fantasy lineup. Julio Jones, his hamstring, he plans to play Monday after missing 2 games, in case you got him on your team. But anyway, yeah, Titans. But anyway, so one of the common things that happens is if you do nothing, right? You're just a sole proprietor, and you're out there willy-nilly just on your name alone. JP, you're just out here doing stuff, and you mess something up, and then somebody sues you. You don't have the business structure in place to protect your assets, because that's really the reason why that you have an LLC or an Inc. is to protect your assets, protect your personal assets, to where your creditors and people that you do business with can only touch the business assets unless you do something egregious, but they can only touch the business assets.
So you mentioned really enjoying working with entrepreneurs and entertainers. Is that, of all of the law that you practice, is that like your baby?
Well, I don't want to say it's my baby, because so the employers that I work for are probably going to listen to this.
Oh,
They're going to say, "Oh, really? Is that how it is?" No, but I really enjoy that though, because man, there's something about having a dream.
Yeah.
Right? And then being able to put your dream on paper and then being able to manifest that dream. And I just really love being a part of that.
That's interesting. So I'm assuming that you meet people in different places in their journey.
All the time.
Some people, like you said, may just be unraveling this dream and, you know, they're trying to brainstorm and figure it out. But then you may walk into a business that has things going. And then you're kind of just plugged into a system that's already working. Do you find one of those more enjoyable?
No, because usually no matter when you're plugged in on the entrepreneur side, there's always something for you to do. There's always some advice that you can give that business person. You can always tell them, hey, I see where you went and filed your articles of organization or articles of incorporation, but you don't have an operating agreement. You don't have any bylaws. I need to draft those, because if you go to a bank to try to open up an account, the bank is going to want you to have bylaws. The bank is going to want you to have an operating agreement so that you can send them, because they want to know how you make business decisions concerning money. And then you're also going to need a federal employer tax ID number. So I assist you with getting that if you hadn't already got that on your own.
Okay. I see Martin Luther King Jr. plastered throughout this room.
Yes.
And historically speaking, he is one of the leaders that I look to, and I marvel at what he's been able to do in terms of getting people to do something. And it's also amazing to me how we still feel the effects of what he's been able to do. The reason that I was attracted to this conversation was because I see hundreds of people outside, cold, rain, sun, running up and down hills, steps, and I'm trying to figure out who's behind all of this. So, in just a little research, I learned that you started marathons as a dedication to mom.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's correct.
But now we see you in this different light, and you got a lot of people that you've like pulled into the journey.
Yeah.
Talk about the first marathon and the training that led up to that.
Yeah, so my mother passed in 2002, and so in 2003, I decided to do the country music half marathon in her honor. And so I started training, I want to say, in January, and it was cold, so I was running treadmill, and I'd get outside occasionally, and, you know, I trained, so to speak, you know, found something online and really kind of adhered to that training plan as best I could. Ran that half marathon and did well. Comparatively speaking, for your first, and did the country music from that year all the way up until 2012. Didn't do it in 2010 because I woke up and it was 90 degrees. I was like, I'm going back to bed. Not doing that. And so 2012, a friend of mine, LaToya Bryant, she said, hey, you don't really train like you should. Why don't you come out and run the steps with me? And so she and I ran the Capitol steps together. It's nothing like what we do today, but it was, we ran up and down the steps, then we'd run around the Capitol, and, you know, we'd do some crunches and push-ups and all of that stuff, and that's what we did to get ready for the Country Music Half Marathon that year. So I ran the marathon, got my fastest time up until that point, lost a bunch of weight, and three of my friends, we kind of had been talking, but they were like, we want to do what you did, right? We want to do what you did. It looks like fun. Let's all get together. So the four of us on the third Thursday in May of 2012, we met over at the Capitol. Decided to do it Thursday because it was the day before the weekend. Didn't want to do it on Friday.
Yeah, makes sense.
And at the end of the first workout, we were like, man, we should do this again. Definitely let's do it next Thursday because it's a week, but let's pick another day. What other day do you want to do it? And we kind of batted around some days, and we came up with Monday because it was the day after the weekend. We're like, oh, that'd be a good way to get everything out of you from the weekend. So that's how it started. Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Over at the Capitol. We started with 4 people, me and 3 other folks. Everett Jolly,
I know Everett.
I know you know Everett. I know you know Everett. Michael Lewis, Tony Lewis, and Tiffany. So we just the three of us out there, just four of us out there, just making it happen.
That is interesting. Now it seems to be more than a workout. It seems like it's more to it than getting the bad stuff out from the weekend or getting a good workout in before the weekend. It seems like this collective body of people that are coming together to push each other to different levels, not just physically but mentally. It seems like a great opportunity to meet people in a city that seems to be thriving. What did you imagine that it would grow to something like this?
Absolutely not. Absolutely, I couldn't have imagined in my wildest dreams that it would grow to something like this. I mean, we had 95 people yesterday, and one time free workout, and Monday we had 120, and for our anniversary, our 7-year anniversary, which was pre-COVID, we had 250 on that day. And so usually during the summers we average triple digits, and it's just each time, and it's just so overwhelming. I mean, I'm just mind blown. I just really appreciate everybody's support and out there doing it. And so we're out there just having a having a good time, so to speak. The first couple of years, they were lean. I mean, there could be 3 people out there, there could be 2 people out there, and there could be nobody out there, right? So, and we used to stop when I think it was daylight savings time at first, and then when it got really cold at first, and we start back up in the spring. But probably year 3, we've been doing it 9 years. Year 3, somebody said, let's do it all year. Why are we stopping? I got cold winter gear. Why are we stopping? And so next thing you know, we're out there doing it. We're out there year round, and daylight savings time, when you fall back, we're still meeting at 6. It's dark when we meet, and we just do the hour-long workouts. And in the spring, when we spring forward, it's a little bit lighter when we meet, but it still gets dark by the time we finish. But then come April or late March, it's daylight the whole time. And so right now, I mean, even yesterday, so it got dark around 6:30.
I saw some videos.
yeah, you saw the videos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it got dark around 6:30, and next thing you know, we're in the darkness. I got this this contraption, as people call it, but it's a light. I think it's GVM or GSM or something, but it's a light. You put your phone in, you turn the light on, and it's good for taking videos. So I got one of those, and we're just gonna keep on going.
So if someone were to ask you, what is the Nashville Capitol Steps workout, how would you describe it to someone that may have never seen it or heard of it?
So I describe the Capitol Steps workout as all levels are welcome. We do we run up hills, we run around the city. Right around the Capitol. So we do the Bicentennial Mall. We'll run around the actual Capitol. We'll run down Charlotte and down Rosa Parks, just kind of in that area. We do burpees, sit-ups, crunches, mountain climbers. We do hill sprints. We run hills. We do lunges, which is another one of my favorites. I'm sure you've seen everybody doing the lunges. And we'll do those on Legislative Plaza. We'll do those right in front of the Capitol on James Robertson Parkway. It just really kind of depends on the workout for the day. But each workout, while they still may have some of the same ingredients, is different. I don't think in the 9 years that I've been doing it that I've repeated a workout. I mean, there's always an element that's different.
Yep.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, and someone that may work out all the time and feel good about being out there versus someone that never typically works out but smiles at the opportunity.
Yeah.
How do you get those people to work together, and that person that may not necessarily always work out or may never want to do a marathon or Ironman, to feel comfortable next to that person that is killing it?
Well, so that's a great question, and I encounter that question all the time, and I just say, just show up. There's going to be somebody who's on your level, and your level is your level. It's not a competition. Don't look at the person next to you and say, today's the day that I'm going to beat him or her. Now, obviously, if you're a competitive person, you're going to be like, oh, okay, it's on. But then if you want some of that, you got to be careful, because it's all about endurance. And you go out too fast, by the end of the workout, you're going to be struggling. And there are people who have done that. I have a couple of really good stories. I don't know if this is really appropriate time to say it, but I have a couple of really good stories that really kind of warmed my heart about doing the workout. So I had a friend of mine, his aunt used to come to the workouts. They're as a family, they used to come to the workouts all the time. I wouldn't say the name, but you probably know the person. But I talk about her all the time. But she used to come to the workouts. This is in the early years, probably the second, third, fourth year. You know, they were regulars. They were always at the workouts. And one weekend, I guess while I don't know if she was home or out, I want to say she was home, she had a heart attack. You know, she was older. She's probably in her, at the time, I think maybe late 50s, early 60s. If I'm wrong about your age, don't kill me. But I want to say about that age. And so she recovered like it was nothing from that heart attack. And the doctor asked her, she was telling me about this the next time she showed up. Doctor asked her, what have you been doing? And she said, well, what do you mean? She said, your heart is really strong. She said, well, my son and my nephew, they drag me to the Capitol every Monday and Thursday to do this workout. And I've been doing it for a few years. The doctor said, if you weren't doing that workout, you would have checked out of here. Blown away. We've had somebody who, this is probably second or third year. We always have announcements, you know, at the beginning of the workouts. I go through kind of the workout for the day, and then I ask anybody, does anybody have anything they want to announce? So this particular day, this young lady said, yeah, I have an announcement to make. And so she's like, today's my birthday. And so we were all like, oh, man, you know, happy birthday. Yada, yada, yada. So we start singing happy birthday to her. And, you know, she kind of stops us kind of mid while we're singing. She says, no, it's not really my actual born day. This is the second year anniversary of me being cancer free.
Wow.
And I wanted to come out here and celebrate it with you guys because this is my family. This is my community. When she was saying that, man, it was not a dry eye. We all over there. Man, that's so beautiful. And just yesterday, had a guy. I'm gonna feature him on Instagram here pretty soon. But he started coming to the workouts 2 years ago, and he recently has been accepted to the Nashville Fire Academy. And he told me last night, man, it's all because of these workouts. He said, do you know I've dropped 100 pounds in 2 years? And I do this, but I may do a little bit else, but this is primarily what I do. 100 pounds? He's changed his life. He's going to the Nashville Fire Academy. You know, just stories like this of just the impact. I don't think that any of the four of us, when we started this 9 years ago, envisioned it. Yeah. Now I'm the last one standing of the four, still coming out there. I don't know where y'all are. Where y'all at? Y'all coming back out? Pull up. Yeah. But we always get together for anniversaries, and it's good to kind of catch up with them when we do come out. But we never envisioned that. We just envisioned it as a spot for people to come work out. And let me know if I'm talking too much, but I just have all these stories. I just get to thinking, and they just start rolling out. Another one of my favorites is after the workout. This was probably 3 or 4 years ago, and I didn't realize this at all. So this is pre-COVID, so it was probably 3 years ago during the summer. She comes up to me after the workouts, and she says, these workouts have really helped me mentally. I'm like, but what do you mean? Are you talking about focus, being able to, your endurance and all of that stuff, being able to get through hard things, et cetera, et cetera? She said, no, they help me mentally with life. I'm like, life? What do you mean life? And so she says to me, I have been diagnosed as chronically depressed or what have you. And she said, these workouts help me get through the day, get through the week. If I'm down and depressed about work or something in my personal life, I know that on Monday and Thursday, I'm going to have this whole big community to like vibe off of, me to love on them to love on me, and it helps me get through. I was blown away. I had no idea. I literally had no idea about the mental health aspect of it until 3 years ago.
So in hearing stories like that, it sounds like you've created this sanctuary for people. So like when I played college football, my quarterback coach said, class, family, girlfriend, you're going to have a bunch of stuff going on. But when you step in between these white lines, like this is your sanctuary. This is your place to release and focus. And the capital steps is that for people.
Man.
When you, how do you feel like you've grown through this process? Like you said, you didn't expect it to evolve into this.
I didn't. I had no idea. No.
So how has it molded and shaped you as a leader, as this guy that brings people together?
Whenever I hear people say that and people talk of the Capital Steps workout in that aspect, it's always very humbling, right? Because when Everett Jolly, Tiffany Dobson, her married name is Whaley now, and Michael Lewis, the four of us, we just 4 people got together to work out, right? We wanted other people to come work out. I mean, we used to afterwards, go to a restaurant, watch Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football after the workouts, right? And who knew that it was going to evolve into what it has? I mean, it's hard to wrap your arms around it. So when you say that, you're doing this for the community and all that, that's very humbling because we just looked at it as a workout. We wanted to get in shape. And it just kind of, it's amazing how God works. So it just kind of evolved into something that's bigger than you. And, which I've been religiously faithful of being at the workouts on Mondays and Thursdays, and they're free. They'll always be free as long as I'm running them, because I believe that's just a way to give back to the community, give somebody that outlet. Somebody that's had that hard day at work, had that argument with their boss, had that argument with their spouse or significant other, and needs a release or needs to go in that sanctuary. It's funny you say that. One of the guys, you look on my Instagram, you probably can figure out who it is. But one of the guys, he's so funny, but he attends religiously. And one of my best supporters and good friend, I'm trying to get him to do the Chattanooga Half Ironman in May. You hear that, Daryl? Daryl Bradley. But and he always says, "Man, this is sanctuary." Led by Pastor Crumlin. And I know it started out as kind of this running joke, but it's kind of one of those things that if you you kind of take it to heart. I guess that is a place where you can, when you step onto the Capitol or you come up those steps, it's really a place where you can just. Now, you're going to call on the Lord to help you get through the workout. But it's a place where you can just release and forget about what's troubling you that day, right? And it works on your mental aspect. It works on your mental health aspect. It works on, of course, the physical well-being as well. So it's overwhelming when people kind of speak of it in that light because that wasn't the intended purpose.
Right.
I mean, I'm glad that it's helping so many people, and I'm blown away that it does. And man, it's very humbling. I mean, I hear like some of the stories I was telling you about earlier. I have so much
Laundry
more.
list, yeah.
I have a laundry list of stories, and people don't, they don't feel comfortable sharing them in front of the group, so they'll pull me aside. They'll say, thank you for doing this, and here's why.
Wow. So in 9 years,
A couple told me that the Capitol Steps workout saved their marriage.
Were they coming together?
They were coming to. Well, at first he was coming. Usually it's the other way around. The wife comes, or one of the partners, the significant other, comes, and then the other one comes. But in this instance, the wife came first, and the husband came first. And he was like telling his wife, hey, you should come do this workout, et cetera, et cetera. And then she ended up coming, and then we spoke, we waved, and all that stuff. Didn't really have much more than exchanging pleasantries and talking a little bit about the workout. But one day she couldn't make it, and after the workout, he thanked me. He was like, man, you know what? This workout saved my marriage. I was like, what do you mean it saved your marriage? He said, we were at each other's throats all the time, and we just needed a release. And we didn't, we go on trips, we do things, we go on date nights. None of that worked. He said, but we came out here, still married.
Wow. That's priceless. I mean, free counseling, basically.
Counseling.
is what they got. Man.
Free counseling through sweat, hills, burpees, and lunges.
So in 9 years, have you missed?
Yeah, I've missed a few times. And so on major holidays, we don't do it. Like if the holiday falls on a Monday, so we won't do it. So Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Christmas Eve, Labor Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, if it falls on a Monday or Thursday, we don't do them. And there occasionally I can't make it. It's very rare, but if I have work, or if I'm out of town for an Ironman or some other event, then somebody else will lead it. Or if I can't find anybody to lead it, I just cancel it.
Now it's not one of the founding four that's leading it. So do you like randomly pick someone or?
Yeah, so I have a couple folks that kind of lead it if I'm not there. So and they've been coming to the workouts for a very long time. So it's always good to have people that you can trust that have been there, that know how to motivate people, that are A-type personalities too, and they've been very, very helpful in doing that.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
And so is Nashville Capitol Steps workout? Is that considered like a business entity at this point, or is it a collection of people? I'm asking because you're a lawyer, so I don't know if you like created this.
Yeah. So it's interesting you say that because we get together every Monday and Thursday and we do the workout. It's just a collection of folks that want to aspire to be better and do better. And we meet over at the Capitol, and it's pretty awesome that we're able to do that. As far as the actual structure of it, a business entity, we just at this time we are it's not a quote unquote business entity because we don't charge for it. So there's nothing that is business like about it, even though it's run like a business.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Gotcha. With Dad being a civil rights attorney, and then like I mentioned, Martin Luther King Jr. sitting here with us. Are there people that you look to when you think about what you've been able to do as a leader of people? And I know you, again, may still be coming to grips with like
sure.
being a leader for people, but are there people that you look to that you pull and glean from when it comes to leadership?
Oh, absolutely. So I always believe that you are only as good as the people that you surround yourself with. So your closest friends, your inner circle, so to speak, people that may not know, maybe one person doesn't know everything about you, but if they all got together, they could tell the whole story.
Good, that's good.
So I definitely have a nice inner circle of folks that I bounce ideas off of, and if I name some names, I'd leave somebody out and would make somebody mad. But yeah, I talk regularly. I talk couple of friends I talk about business, right? And they, one of whom I had a bet with, and we can get into that a little later. But he's been very instrumental in kind of navigating success, whether that's financial or in your personal life. And have another friend, really close friend, he's done the same for me. And then, of course, I have some other friends that are clients that we all kind of talk about different things and help each other out with just life, whether it's relationships or whether it's business, whether it's being a black male in society, whether it's how to continue to uplift our sisters and support our sisters, whether it's supporting those who don't look like us that support the cause. Just a myriad of things, talking to those who don't support the cause and how to try to interact with them and understand their point of view while relaying your point of view and not have it be confrontational or argumentative. Right? So that you can walk away learning, oh, okay, that's their perspective. That doesn't mean it's right, but that's their perspective. And they could walk away with, okay, now I better understand the plight.
That's good. One more thing regarding working out.
Sure.
And I want to ask you like a less light question. Ironman. Half Ironman, marathon, half marathon.
Yeah.
Help me understand exactly what these are. So
Sure.
Marathon is 26.
26.2 miles.
And then the half is 13.1.
13.1. Yep.
And then
13.1.
what is it swimming?
Yeah, swim,
biking?
bike, run.
Okay.
So for there several different distances, but the most common are your sprint, your Olympic, your half Ironman, and your full Ironman. So your sprint is usually going to be, these are all triathlons. Your sprint's going to be somewhere around a 200 to 400 yard or meter swim. And the bike is going to be
bad for me.
No, you can do it. The bike is going to be 10 to 14 miles, and then the run's going to be 2 miles to maybe a 5K. That's a sprint.
Okay.
The Olympic is going to be a 0.9 mile swim or 1,500 meters. Then you're going to ride 25 miles on a bike. Oh, don't look at me like that. 25 miles on a bike, and then you're going to run a 10K, 6.2 miles. The half Ironman, you're going to swim 1.2 miles. You're going to bike 56 miles, and you're going to run a half marathon. Full Ironman, you're going to double that distance. So you're swimming 2.4 miles, biking 112, and then running 26.2.
Have you done all of those?
I have. I've done all of those. I've completed 8 full Ironman, 7 half Ironman and a lot of Olympics, a lot of sprints. I've done several marathons. I've done over 20 half marathons. So I've done all those distances.
See, when I think
10Ks
about
and
swimming
5Ks.
from one end of the pool
To the other end of the pool. Yeah.
I'm tired.
Right.
So when I think about
but you got to get back, though.
1,500 yards, I'm like, man, I
Yeah.
can just see myself out there. Just
Yeah.
But hey,
Yeah.
there was a story that I read and unfortunately saw that you were in your own home
I was.
and you had law enforcement called on you as you were in your own home.
Correct.
By neighbor. I'm not sure. With the assumption that maybe you weren't supposed to be there.
That is correct. That I didn't live there.
So in my head, what I'm replaying right now is this guy who has poured so much into Nashville, has freely and willingly brought so many people of so many backgrounds together, yet in the comfort of his own home, he has this experience of law enforcement knocking on the door, trying to figure out if he lives there. What is that experience about?
So it was one of the more frustrating experiences that I've ever had. But I'm thankful to have gotten through it because some people don't, right? I mean, we encounter and we read about it all the time where people have encounters with law enforcement or encounters with people who are openly racist and they don't survive those encounters.
Yep.
I mean, we could talk about the times, we could have a conversation. I'm sure you could tell me about times that you've been pulled over as a black man.
Yep.
Whether it's today on your way here, whether it was last night, whether it was when you were in college.
Yep.
And we could probably share some of the same stories. There'd be some very similar, if not the same, common denominator. So going through that was very frustrating and for a number of reasons. And one of the main ones is because it's your home.
Yep.
You think you're safe at home. Home is your sanctuary.
Yep.
Home is where you can decompress, be yourself, what have you. And to have that space violated because somebody who doesn't know you and who's new to the neighborhood feels like you don't belong there because you don't look like them, even though you were the third house in the neighborhood and you've been in the neighborhood 13, 14 years. It's very troubling, very troubling. And so it's one of those things that I look back on it and I'm thankful for God. I'm thankful for growth. I'm thankful for a myriad of things because the situation could have turned out very differently.
Yes. Yes. The end of that article said, although disappointed, you found it as a teachable moment. Could be, quote unquote, wrong. Maybe it's a little off. If you care to speak to it, great. If not, I totally understand. Was that a teachable moment for that person? Were you able to, maybe not you, were they able to reconcile what was very wrong?
So I think when you look at the entire situation, thankfully it didn't end up where I was a hashtag.
Yep.
But it was in the summer of 2020.
Yes.
And we all remember how kind of tumultuous and how everything was on point during the summer of 2020. You had Breonna Taylor from my hometown in Louisville. You had, of course, George Floyd. You had Ahmad,
Yep.
you know, and all of those different others that other people that had similar situations that looked like both me and you had those encounters that happened. I mean, I think about the bird watcher in New York City, and just so many people that just, I don't know what it is. It's like, because you don't look like me, because I look in the mirror, you don't look like me. Whether it's, I think I'm better than you because you have darker skin, or you know, no matter what background you're from, it's frustrating, because I think there is so much more. You see, I'm kind of lawyering this answer. Right?
All good. Take your time.
I do think it is summer of 2020. You had the perfect storm. You had COVID. We were all at home. Couldn't really go outside, especially, think about it, back March, April, May, June of 2020. Couldn't go outside. All you could do was watch TV. And if you did go outside, you better have been an essential worker, or you need to be going to the grocery store. You're not going to the club. You're not going to a restaurant because they weren't open. You weren't going to get your nails done because they weren't open. You weren't going to the barbershop. They weren't open. I mean, literally nothing was open. So you were at home watching TV. You're watching TV. Then all of a sudden, you see George Floyd get murdered. And it was so eye-opening for everybody, because even for people that look like us, we kind of knew that happens all the time. But cell phones, right? And even when you capture the video on cell phones, people don't really believe that it's happening. But when you saw George Floyd with the Derek Chauvin with his knee on his neck for 8 minutes, 30 seconds, 29 seconds, or 9 minutes as it came out in trial, or what have you, and you heard a grown man scream, cry out for his mama, his mama that was already dead. Think about it. You a grown man and you crying out for your mama. I mean, every mother across America, no matter if she was white, black, blue, brown, green, pink, yellow, purple, they can identify with that. And so I think that was kind of the turning point for 2020. I mean, that's when, you know, the kettle, the top blew off the pot, so to speak. I mean, all of that just kind of came to a head, and you had people going in the streets, marching, and all that stuff. You had some violence, which I don't condone, but I understand. But, you know, you have all of that happening because this pressure cooker of race. And then it's all of a sudden on the TV. And, you know, I think there were some really good things that came out of that, as far as it just being put in your face. And I think we as a people were finally heard, right? So to speak. I still think there's so much more to do, and I don't think we were heard all the way, but that's another podcast.
Gotcha. So you asked about this balloon. Every episode, I ask a question that says, what is one word or one phrase that handcuffs people from doing something that their heart is telling them to do? What prevents people from taking that step to start something like the Capital Steps workout? And what we're going to do is write that word or that phrase on the balloon. We're going to pop it and take the air out of it, and we're going to hope that people take that step. Okay. So I'll let you think as I blow this balloon up.
It's just one word.
One word, one phrase. Something that prevents people from taking that step.
Oh, there's so many.
I
want to fill up the whole balloon.
Wow. Comfort zone. Comfort zone. Hopefully you can see that. Talk to us about it. What do you mean?
People get in their everyday routines, and it's always something they wanted to do. You know, I've always wanted to come to the Capitol steps, but I got this workout routine that I do, and you know that seems kind of hard. I like being over here, or I see that you swim, bike, and run for a triathlon, but that's cool. I can't swim, so I don't want to learn how to swim. So I'm just going to bike and run. Or I'm kind of unsteady on the bike, so I'm just going to run. I got this idea for a podcast. I don't, you know, microphones, camera, equipment, scheduling. I don't know if anybody's going to listen. I think I'm going to continue doing my 9 to 5 or continue doing what makes me feel good. People are scared to step out of their comfort zones. You know, I want to make a little bit of extra money, but I'm not ready to, or I don't have the means, or I'm scared to ask my friends if we could pool our money together and buy a rental property, or invest in a flip, or I got this great idea to start this online boutique, and I got all the connections. I got the place to get the materials. I can make my own clothing, but man, this 9 to 5 is real comfortable, right? It's all about kind of stepping out of your comfort zones and doing something, being uncomfortable, being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
That's good.
You got to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable, right?
Yep.
Because the more you're able to step out of your box and step out of your circle, then that's where growth is. You know, you'll get set into a schedule, a rhythm. Next thing you know, you're 60 years old and you're like, man, if I'd only started that business, man, if I had, you know, back in the day, I wanted to start, you know, an online platform where people could share pictures and photos, but I let them do it. Or, you know, I wanted to start a restaurant and have all of these nice cuisines, and then have a concept over here with a restaurant, a concept over here with a restaurant. But I'll continue being a cook where I am. I'll continue working for somebody instead of for myself.
Well, we're going to take the life out of this. Is a really nice office, so I hope this doesn't scare anybody.
Yes.
Awesome. Where can people find you? Capitol Steps workout. Do they just come? Do they need to sign up? Give us some information on you.
Yeah, so Capitol Steps workout, you can find it on Instagram. You can use the hashtag Capitol Steps workout, capital with an O. So it's CAPITOL Steps workout, or under my name at James Crumlin. I have an email list, a distribution list that I put people on, and we're on Eventbrite. Funny story, you asked about that. So there was a couple last night who came to the workout. They're from Richmond, Virginia, and they did the workout together, and she's at the end of the workout, and she says, we're talking, I got her on video, and she's like, yeah, I lost my husband. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do everything here at the workout, so I just did what I could, which is fine. Did what I could and then just stopped. She said, but I think my husband is running around looking for me. I said, oh, he is. He has on a backpack, right? I saw him on the other side. So a few minutes later, the husband shows, and she's telling me, oh, you know, we're here on vacation. And my husband has this great idea to do this workout while they're on vacation. And he gets there, and they finally connect, and he says the same thing. So I asked him, I said, "Hey, where'd y'all find us?" He said, "On Eventbrite." You guys are, he said, "You guys are like one of the top things to do in fitness in Nashville, one of the top things to do in health in Nashville." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." He said, we literally found you on Eventbrite."
Wow.
And so that's another way that you can find us. You can just type in Capital Steps Workout on Eventbrite, and it'll come up. It's a free workout. You have to have you have to register on Eventbrite, get a ticket or a barcode, and I scan in your barcode like you go into the Y,
Cool.
every time you go. So
Cool. Well, this was fun.
man, this was great, man. I really appreciate it. So
Yep.
I encourage everybody to come out to the Capital Steps Workout. I encourage everybody to do a triathlon.
We're gonna pause on
We're gonna sign you up. Hold on, JP, don't pause yet.
You can't put it on record.